Poverty is about more than just an empty wallet. It cuts deeper, leaving invisible scars on the mind and soul. People in poverty often face a daily battle with stress, anxiety, and hopelessness. These burdens can be overwhelming. They trap individuals and families in a cycle of despair. It's time to acknowledge the psychological cost of poverty. Poverty creates a constant state of worry. This worry seeps into every aspect of life. Imagine never knowing if you can put food on the table or keep a roof over your head. This constant fear takes a toll on mental health, making it difficult to see beyond the present moment. The trauma of poverty can be passed down through generations. Children growing up in poverty are more likely to experience toxic stress. This can have long-term effects on their mental and physical well-being. It's a vicious cycle that needs to be broken. We need to start seeing poverty not just as a financial issue, but as a complex social and psychological crisis. Only then can we truly begin to address the needs of those trapped in its grip. Living in poverty is like carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders. The constant stress of not having enough money triggers a cascade of physical and emotional responses in the body. One of the key players in this stress response is cortisol, often called the stress hormone. When we face a stressful situation, our bodies release cortisol. This helps us cope with the immediate threat. However, in poverty, the stress is relentless. This leads to chronically elevated cortisol levels. Over time, high cortisol can have detrimental effects on our physical and mental health. Chronic stress increases the risk of developing mental health problems like anxiety and depression. People living in poverty are significantly more likely to experience these conditions. This is due in part to the toxic effects of chronic stress on the brain. The weight of constant worry also impacts physical health. It can lead to sleep problems, weakened immune systems, and an increased risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. The relentless stress of poverty takes a toll on the entire body. Imagine your mind as a computer. When you have too many programs running at once, the computer slows down. It struggles to process information effectively. This is similar to what happens in the brain under chronic stress. Poverty creates a state of mental overload, often referred to as poverty fog. Cognitive load refers to the amount of mental effort being used in our working memory. When we are constantly worried about basic needs like food and shelter, our cognitive load increases. This leaves less mental bandwidth for other tasks, such as planning for the future, making sound decisions, or pursuing education and job opportunities. People living in poverty often have to make difficult decisions with limited information and under immense pressure. They may prioritize immediate needs, even if it means making choices that are not in their long-term best interests. This is not a lack of intelligence or motivation. It's a consequence of living in survival mode. Poverty fog can also affect executive functioning skills. These are the mental processes that help us plan, organize, and regulate our emotions. When these skills are impaired, it can be challenging to break free from the cycle of poverty. The isolation of poverty, invisible walls. Poverty is not just about a lack of financial resources, it's also about social isolation. People living in poverty often face discrimination and stigma. These experiences create invisible walls that separate individuals from the support they need. This isolation can have a profound impact on mental health. Breaking down these barriers requires challenging our own biases and creating a more inclusive society. Breaking the cycle. Children of poverty. Poverty casts a long shadow, often affecting multiple generations within a family. Children growing up in poverty face a unique set of challenges that can have long-lasting impacts on their development and well-being. The early years are crucial for brain development, and poverty can disrupt this process in significant ways. Toxic stress, caused by prolonged exposure to adversity, can have detrimental effects on a child's developing brain. This can lead to difficulties with learning, memory, attention, and emotional regulation. Children living in poverty are more likely to experience developmental delays and struggle academically. The effects of poverty can also spill over into a child's social and emotional development. They may have difficulty forming healthy relationships, regulating their emotions, and coping with stress. This can lead to behavioral problems, social isolation, and mental health issues. Breaking the cycle of intergenerational poverty requires a multifaceted approach. This includes addressing the root causes of poverty, providing families with the resources they need to thrive, and supporting children's early development through high-quality early childhood education programs. Seeds of hope, stories of resilience. Despite the immense challenges they face, individuals and families living in poverty also demonstrate incredible resilience, strength, and determination. Their stories are a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome adversity. Amidst the struggles, there are seeds of hope that remind us that change is possible. Community support plays a vital role in fostering resilience. When people feel connected to others who understand their struggles, they are more likely to thrive. Support groups, community centers, and faith-based organizations can provide a lifeline for individuals and families facing poverty. I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of my community, shared Michael, a young man who grew up in poverty and is now pursuing a degree in social work. They believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. They showed me that there was hope even when things seemed impossible. Resilience is not about ignoring the challenges of poverty, but about finding the strength to keep going despite them. It's about holding on to hope, even in the darkest of times. And it's about recognizing that with the right support, individuals and families can overcome adversity and build a brighter future. A call to action, lifting the burden. Poverty is a societal issue that requires a collective response. We must take concrete actions to address the root causes of poverty. This requires a shift in perspective, from seeing poverty as a personal failing to understanding it as a systemic issue. Advocate for policies that provide economic opportunity, affordable housing, healthcare, and quality education. By creating a more just and equitable society, we can lift the burden of poverty and create a world where everyone can thrive.